Your mic's not working. What's up with that?
I have no idea.
Or is my
Did it clip
headphone?
out?
I think they can hear you. I don't think I can hear you. Let's try this.
I think it's working. Is this thing on?
Dustin, just
Is
go
this
for it.
thing
I
on?
can't hear you. So you
Check. 1, 2.
You take over again. Take over.
I'm just gonna keep talking until Russ can hear me, assuming you all can hear me. But this is just sheer effort by Lankinen and the rest of the team there. They're fun to watch again. Which even, when they were struggling in the beginning of the period or the beginning of this game, still kind of got filled in the second
Can
period.
you guys hear Dustin?
No quit. I think they can. I mean, I don't know. They saying silent woo. Something's going on here.
It says they can hear you, but I can't. That is so weird.
Okay, KJ says he can hear me, but Russ can't. So it's just us, Chad. I'm the captain now. But yeah, Ratu did his best to try and battle back in the face-off circle, get it up to 39%. Overtime was a lot. Lankinen holding us in. Canucks struggled to get possession there. Rossi is first. The new guys, their first time playing overtime in this new system. So you could see Rossi kind of get stuck out there a little bit. Also turned over the puck a couple times instead of turning it back to the defenseman that we've seen be a good tool for the Canucks. Although it does make it a little more boring of an overtime to watch when you keep possession and you can tire out the other side, you get the better chances, which is what Boston did in overtime. But Lankinen, I mean, in the shootout, still hasn't let one in this season in the shootout. Just really solid there. The Canucks looked awful on all of their attempts until Öhgren comes in with an absolute gem of a move and just tucks it past Swayman. We may have fleeced Minnesota with that one. I know we had an awful start to the season, but to the eye test, man, that kid has a pretty high ceiling. Just as long as he's not put in the wrong situations right now, still let them make mistakes. They're young, right? I mean, our veterans are making mistakes. Look at what Tyler Myers and MP29 and Marcus Pettersson have done lately, right? Everyone makes mistakes. And so this idea that, you can't play rookies too much time because they might make mistakes frustrates the hell out of me, right? You got to let these guys play. And so when they moved, when they let Karlsson and Öhgren get a little more ice time there in the third period, look at what happens, right? Karlsson had probably his best game in the NHL tonight. And then, Öhgren as well. Probably his best game of this season, split between both Minnesota and Vancouver. That line looks really good. Man, I was just impressed with the effort. When Foote shuffled the lineups, they actually became more balanced because he put right shot guys and left shot guys with wingers. Suddenly we're watching the game and everything's kind of falling into place. The Canucks controlled pretty much the first half of the third period. It wasn't until the last 5 minutes that things kind of got away from them a bit. But my goodness, going into the next 14 games, it's such a soft schedule that these prospects, the sting of losing Quinn Hughes was tough a week ago. But when you remove yourself, because we're Canucks fans, right? Yeah, we can know a little bit about prospects and we can be excited about prospects, but we haven't watched them. I saw Zeev Buium at the World Juniors, and I was like, oh my God, this kid's going to be a stud. But, at the NHL level, I'd never really experienced him or seen him much. I just heard really great things and saw him as a junior. To see where he's at, he's not putting up the offensive numbers that we're used to from Quinn Hughes, but the fact that we have him doing what he's doing defensively, and he's so calm. I mean, they eventually put him with Myers and split up Myers and Marcus Pettersson because those guys were playing like garbage tonight. I think maybe because of the back-to-back and the long road trip, and they're, the older guys on the back end, but despite their best efforts to tank, these guys just don't want to.
That's accurate. I mean, that's one thing I've heard a couple times. Like, even like Bouillon, right? His defensive partner in Minnesota was Zach Bogosian, right? Who is the prototypical stay-at-home defenseman. So there's times where Bouillon's trying to do some fancy stuff, and Zach Bogosian's just like, I'm just going to stand here. And then he ends up getting in the way. So a guy like Bouillon is able to do things because he's got more motion with the rest of his teammates too. And Öhgren was getting like 6 minutes a game, right? Suddenly you give him some more minutes. Tonight, Öhgren comes in, he gets 12 minutes, so he gets double the time he normally would playing on Minnesota, but still ends up with a goal and an assist and the shootout winner. So Öhgren, sometimes that's all it takes, man. Sometimes that's all it takes. Give him a little bit of extra time, give him a little bit of freedom to try some creativity, and all of a sudden, Öhgren looks like an absolute stud in this lineup, which you love to see.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy, right? Like, you just look back a week or 8 days and where we were at. And, oh man, everything has changed all of a sudden. Right. And we talked recently about how, these prospects could potentially replace those first round picks that Benning traded away and sacrificed the future. Man, I can't say that I don't love what I see, right? Like these guys have the effort, and that's where I'm saying, like, if Hughes and Petey were the last two kind of rubbing shoulders wrong, like, I get it. Like, people think he's the locker room cancer, like an EP40, but if we suddenly get 100-point Pettersson back, what do we look like?
We look like a team that can make a deep run, Dustin. And that's the thing is,
I know.
It's a crazy thing. And it's hard to wrap our heads around and we talked about it so much.
Because Petey's been so bad too, right? Like, so that's why it's really hard.
The amount of injuries that this Canucks team, they literally had a game where they did not have a NHL center in the lineup, right? No wonder they were in 32nd place. They literally had 4 centers that are at best marginal NHLers, right? Their best center was Aju Ratu, and he just got scratched. He got back in tonight and played like 9 minutes, right? But all of a sudden, the Canucks are looking healthy. And maybe it is that thing, right? Maybe they were just too much stress about trying to get the puck over to Hughes, but who knows, right?
Well, that's the thing. We don't know what Quinn was like in the locker room. That's never, ever really been talked about. Like, we don't know. No one ever really talks about Quinn ever, right? And sometimes when that happens, you think about the old adage of, your mother teaches you if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it at all, right? And, I noticed Bieksa, when he talked about it, he kind of didn't really give any praise to Hughes. He just talked about how awesome the Canucks did in the return. Maybe he used to lose it in the dressing room if he wasn't getting the puck enough, or if something he didn't like something. We don't know how he carried himself as a leader, right? Like in the room. We know his talent on the ice, absolutely undeniable. We know he's a very smart guy because he loves books and things like that. Like, he's very well educated. And, he goes home and just watches hockey highlights, and that's pretty much his life. I don't know, right? We're not in the room. I'm not trying to start a rumor here one way or the other, but clearly this team looks energized and ready to play for each other. Like, you can hear Hronek yelling and communicating with his teammates, not yelling at them, just like it's leadership work. Like, yo, cover front, I'm going corner, just calling out directions.
I'm not yelling at you. I'm yelling with you.
Well, yeah, it's different communication, right? Like, right?
Oh, yeah.
There's times where you and I would yell in good terms, and there's times where I would yell at you for fucking skating when you shouldn't.
Oh, Connor Cale even coming around. He hated Liam Öhgren when he first got here because he apparently took his number. $2 donut from Connor Cale. Time to start rooting for the guy wearing number 92, ? And he's laughing. And then Hunter with another $4 donut. We have 4 points. We are 4 points out of a wild card spot. So let's bring it up. Let's bring up the standings here, people. Because Hunter with a $4 donut, like you mentioned. So overall, the Canucks have moved up all the way up to 27th now. So look at that movement there. And then if you look at it based on division or wild card, suddenly you're looking at that doesn't look like much. Look at, they're only 3 spots out, right? They're only 4 points out. They're only behind the San Jose Sharks. So they're playing coming up. That's a 4-point game coming up. You got St. Louis, who's played 2 more games. You got the Utah Mavs that's played 2 more games. These are 2 teams they could jump over just by winning their next 2 games. Suddenly you're looking at a Vancouver Canucks team that is flirting with a wild card spot, 4 wins in a row, and it changes the entire complexion of the season.
I think these next 14 games determine everything, man. Like, coming up to the end of January, like, it's such a schedule in their favor. And then when you add on top of that, like, that 2/3 of their remaining schedule is at home, like, easier travel. So, when most teams, like, everyone suffered through injuries this year, but the teams that have, like, travel heavy schedules at the back half of the year are statistically going to probably suffer more injuries than whereas the Canucks, who had a really intense schedule at the beginning, which you and I talked about when the schedules were released. We had to get to Christmas, right? And once we got to Christmas, that's when things kind of got a little easier. The back-to-backs were more at home, not much travel on back-to-backs. And, like, it's not even that I'm just trying to be hopeful. I'm just looking at it statistically. And also what the Canucks have shown us since Quinn Hughes left this team. I mean, New Jersey overtime win, blanking the Rangers at home, almost blanking the Islanders at home, and then winning tonight on the back-to-back. Like, did anyone out there see them winning any one of those 4 games?
Crazy. BML in the chat.
I didn't. I'm sitting here telling you I saw them going 0-4 after the Hughes trade, right? Like,
BML saying give Dusty and Russell ownership. I'd take it for sure.
Absolutely.
100%. We'll run this team well. We'll just let Rutherford run his master plan, right? Because he's a genius. BML also saying
we care about the fans in the city.
Yeah.
So, like, ticket prices are going down, beer prices are going down.
We love
family-friendly environment. Let's go.
But he might not be the right leader,
get some
right?
Noise back in that building.
Well, and there's something to be said for that too. And I mean, I know that discussion was done while we were talking about who gets to get the captaincy. Maybe you don't want your best player to be the one who's taking the questions after every single game, right? Maybe Quinn Hughes would have been a little less miserable if he wasn't the captain, because then he doesn't have to sit in front of the media every single day and listen to the same set of 4 questions that he gets after every single game. And that's the thing. Maybe making your best player the captain is not the right choice. So I hope at the end of the day, I've been very negative about Quinn Hughes. I call him Quit Hughes or Quit Who, but I hope he does well in Minnesota. I hope he has a long, healthy career. But at the end of the day, hockey, out of probably the major sports in North America, is the most team-based sport that you have. Do you think, I'm going to ask you this question, because let's get into some hypotheticals. Do the Florida Panthers in the last 2 years have a player that is better than either Connor McDavid or Draisaitl?
run that by me again. Sorry.
Is there a single player that you would choose to start a team with that played for Florida over McDavid or Draisaitl?
Like right now, today, probably not. Like, no.
Right.
Obviously not.
So,
but like a close third, like Matthew Tkachuk,
Right.
you'd obviously take to as a good centerpiece to build a team around,
but
right?
my point is with hockey, and I might even try and show you guys a video because there's a really good documentary I watched on YouTube about the differences between other pro sports and hockey, because for whatever reason, the most important thing about a hockey team is the team unit, right? Even though Connor McDavid is pretty much the undisputed best player in the NHL right now, he still lost the cup 2 years in a row to a team in Florida who does not have a Connor McDavid. They don't have a Draisaitl, but as a team unit, they were able to take down two of the top players in the entire NHL 2 years in a row. And it didn't matter that McDavid is McJesus, right? Like, we give him crap, but at the end of the day, every single franchise would take McDavid in a second if they could get their hands on it. Canucks the same, right? So, but if it doesn't matter, if you have the most talented player, if you can't play as a team, and so that's my point about Quinn Hughes, greatest, most offensively skilled defenseman in the history of the Canucks by far. Like, it's not even close. But if his presence on the team creates a dysfunction within the team or prevents the rest of his line mates and teammates from playing as a unit, you aren't going to win. And that's exactly what we were seeing. And now that Quinn Hughes is gone, we have 6 defensemen who are very capable of playing in the NHL. 2 of them we got 3 young defensemen who are under the age of, under the age of 21 right now playing in this lineup. The future is bright, and they're playing as a unit.
Absolutely. And guys, like chat's pointing out, there are other guys we forgot, obviously Barkov, Bennett, and like Brad Marchand in his prime, clearly, right? Like these guys are, like, they do have a wealth of talent,
Right.
But the other thing they do have is a ridiculous amount of chemistry because they have a glue guy like Tkachuk that gets the team going. And they also have a captain like Barkov, who isn't necessarily the loudest guy out there, isn't always going to go out there and throw big hits, but he knows exactly how to keep the room together. You know, like, I've been watching the Tkachuk brothers podcast recently because they don't hide anything. I mean, you hear the way Tkachuk, you hear the way they prank their teammates, you hear the way they have team dinners, and like, Barkov wants to force Tkachuk to have to go to the ECHL for his conditioning game. And he said he's going to fly the entire Panthers team there to watch. Like, that's just fun team camaraderie stuff that we have seriously lacked as the Canucks since Quinn took over as captain. He didn't do that stuff outside of the rink to bring everyone together. We heard that JT Miller was that guy. He was always hosting the Miller House, right? Hughes, nothing. Hughes not going to the Children's Hospital stuff. Not right. Like, he's just as much an introvert as Pettersson. And maybe that's why they clash. Maybe they're the two that were the problem. We don't know. We never will know until memoirs come out.
Yeah.
But like, even you hear Bruce Boudreau, who just can't believe that it came to this. Right? He's been a coach all around the NHL and all around the juniors and stuff. Like, it's not unusual for 2 guys to dislike each other on a hockey team, but for it to go from what it was to completely dismantling a team to this point, like, at some point, that's on your captain a bit to like reel that shit in. Is it not? Like, it would be on pretty much any other team. So it just, when you look back at it, everything, you always have a chance to look back, in hindsight being 2020. But, at this point right now, I want to be happy for Quinn Hughes to get to where he wants to be and to win. There's no doubting his talent, but I am starting to question his character and the way he left. But it's in the past now. We have an opportunity right now to change the culture in that dressing room. And if we get the 110 point Petey back and all of a sudden everyone's happy and having fun, then don't we kind of have our answer?
Connor Cahill with a question for Dusty. Why should we ever trade Sherwood? Guy is a natural born leader on the ice, and there should be a solid cap space after trading Quinn Hughes.
Because he's 3 years too old.
Yeah.
For the style of game he plays, he's 3 years too old. And there's a lot of people who don't realize that Sherwood is already 30. But he's going to want $5 million. And the most the Canucks want to give him is 3.5, because they really do have this position of getting younger. And as much as Sherwood throws hits and is a leader out there are young guys emerging that play the same style of game, and you will get your Kiefer Sherwoods again. It feels unique to have those players when we're Canucks fans because they're unique, right? Like it's like a Rafi Torres or, Darcy Hordichuk, who would go out and fight anybody who he was here for that one reason. Like I wish I could say that 30 doesn't mean anything, but when he throws as many hits as he does, it catches up on you faster. And I just see, it's a danger to invest in somebody when the idea is to be, one of the younger teams and get younger. It depends if he wants to be here and be part of the rebuild and the restructure. Do I want him traded? No. Do I understand the business of why he likely will be? Yes.
I would point out, too, there's a reason that Sherwood hasn't been traded yet, because if they do, it is going to be closer to the deadline. Because like we've talked about on this stream, the Canucks are doing what they're doing right now to say, okay, are we getting closer to the end of our hybrid rebuild, right? If they can start winning, and they're winning leading up to the Olympic break and winning leading up to the trade deadline, they're not going to trade anyone. They're going to make a push. And that's the thing. I would be
well, exactly. The only thing they're going to trade is the Minnesota pick,
right? And the thing is too, if I think my perfect scenario for this Vancouver Canucks team is, let's say it continues, and obviously we want them to win every game. They're not going to do that. However, if they are in a playoff position at the trade deadline, I just say just ride it out, right? Treat Kiefer Sherwood like you've traded for him to be your contract that you're bringing in, right? And then if he really loves this team, sign him again for an extension before we get to July 1, right? If you have some success, and the other thing I'll say, he is 30, but players are playing to an older age too, so you never know. Kiefer Sherwood seems to be a really durable guy, knock on wood, right? So I think that's my ideal situation now for the Canucks this season, is I want them to, if they are winning leading towards that trade deadline, don't make any crazy moves. Don't move out any of the stuff that they have, the first round pick. I'd say keep it. And then see what happens and just go. It's never a bad thing to have your players get a little taste of the playoffs, because you think about the bubble. That was way too early for the Canucks to have that success. But I guarantee that a lot of those guys who played on that bubble team got a good taste of the playoffs, and that's really good for their development.
Absolutely. And yeah, like you're right. Like there's no way the Canucks want to give up Kiefer Sherwood. Let's be clear.
Yeah.
It comes down to business sometimes with certain players and certain contracts. But what I would like to see is them treat him the way they treated Besser last year, right? If they get the wow me, blow your socks off deal, then you move him. He's 30 years old. His value is likely never going to be higher than it is right now. And on an expiring contract, any Stanley Cup team can pretty much take him on for the cap hit that he is. Like he can really command a pretty high return, especially after the 2 trades that went down late last night. It pushes his trade value way higher. So it like I said, these next 14 games are pivotal to going towards that trade deadline. If we go 10-4 in the next 14 games, which this Boston one counted, so that's 1. So now we need to go 9-4 in the next 13 games. If we do that, then we are right back to being buyers at the deadline. which is only a couple weeks later because of the Olympic break.
Yeah.
So I'm baffled at the moment because, last week I was depressed and lost and confused.
Now you're happy,
there was
lost,
no
and confused.
direction. There was no identity. And now we're seeing this team wanting to push the play and get in hard on the forecheck. And we're seeing some actual cycles develop, which we haven't seen all bloody year. And yeah, the first half of this game was a little rocky, but you got to give them a little bit of slack on that because of the back-to-back and the end of a long road trip. So
Connor Cahill.
I don't know what the hell we're doing, man.
Yeah, you're happy and confused now instead of being depressed and confused.
Exactly.
Yeah. Connor Cahill with a $2 donut. We've invested in 35-year-old giraffe. I don't know, lap my ass off. So, but the thing is, what did he sign for? Like $3 million or something like that?
$3 million, right? Like, so he took a huge discount.
Yeah.
He probably could have gone to another team that would have given him probably 5.5.
Yeah.
And he signed for $3 million here in Vancouver to help be part of the leadership. Plus, he has a place in Kelowna. He's loves Vancouver. And so, I get the Myers thing. Plus, it makes them easy to move if they do want to go to him and be like, hey, can you move? Can you waive your no trade clause just because like we're in a position to, get this player for, whatever. And you're going to a bona fide like contender. Like you're going to be playing in the playoffs for sure, whatever. So I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know what the next 4 months are going to bring, but I will tell you that these next 3 weeks will determine if this is the rebuild is over and it's let's get back to winning, or if it's like we're just getting a little bit of a flash in the pan of adrenaline with some new guys coming in and it's going to level out. But just from what we've seen in this last week, I don't see them going backwards.
Marco Rossi finally gets a point on the board for the Canucks. So all three players coming back in the Quinn Hughes trade. So Rossi, Öhgren, and Zeev Buium now have 6 points in 4 games. Quinn Hughes, I believe, has 3 points for the Minnesota Wild, if I checked correctly last time. So, like, you take that as a win. You don't have your generational player, but you have 3 players that are contributing in the lineup. Is that a big lift off the shoulders of Rossi, or do you think it's going to take him scoring a goal to have him really have the pressure come off of him?
I think got to give him a couple more games, right? Like he's not trying. He doesn't look like nervous or uncomfortable, right? He looks okay out there. The only time I didn't really like his play tonight was in overtime when he got stuck out there for too long, gave the puck away a couple times instead of turning it back. But that's something that he's going to need to learn with this new team, how they want to play overtime. I doubt they've practiced that much since these guys came over. They've practiced the power play and some 5-on-5 line rushes. They probably haven't done a lot of specialized things like 5-on-3s and overtime 3-on-3. So there will be some things for them to be able to go over before they get into Philly on Monday night. But like he's finding some good chemistry with the line mates that he's on, and he just looks happy that he's in a better role, right? Like he's not buried down the lineup. He's being used as a second line center, right now being used as a first line center. So I think the goals will come. He's getting himself in good positions. He hit a post tonight, if I'm not mistaken. So he was really close. Gets the assist. I think just overall gaining 3 NHL ready roster players for one in that situation was instrumental in these guys. The age gaps that they got, right? Like it's the ages.
They're the fourth youngest.
You got a 24-year-old. You got 24-year-old, a 21-year-old, and a 20-year-old, and they all are first round picks who are, projected to have pretty high ceilings, right? So, I'd even take their floors, considering that we have none their age in the system, right? Or that in that prospect development area. So I'm very happy with this last week and how it's gone down.
Linus Karlsson, 3 points tonight. leads the team in
Yep.
points. Only 13 minutes of ice time, 3 shots on net, 1 block shot, 3 hits. Linus Karlsson's starting to look like a steal. They got him for pretty much nothing back in the day. And he has worked through the system like they do, properly developed in prospects, wins the Calder Cup, comes up. Now he's getting the regular shifts. I mean, he does get a little bit more. Like he started the year at about 10 minutes per game, maybe 9 minutes. Now he's up to 13 minutes. He's starting to look really, really good as a dominant player out there for getting in on the forecheck, taking the puck out, and ends up with 2 goals tonight and an assist, turning into an absolute booty. I understand now why Calvin loves him so much. You love to see it.
Yep. Yeah, and I'm not let's be clear, I'm not saying that's the PD we're gonna get back. Right? Like that's just a crazy fucking if it happens.
Yeah.
What the possibilities, right? We're Canucks fans. As soon as we get a taste, we're planning the parade.
Yeah.
And so I'm just looking at this dream world where we get them back, and all of a sudden everyone's like, who are these guys? Are they like a wagon now?
Yeah.
It's just, a boy can dream, can he?
I was gonna quickly touch on the obviously the face-offs.
10 Mile, how sick would that be? Watching the Canucks versus Minnesota in the Western Conference Final.
Yeah, wouldn't that be
how disgusting would that be?
That was my too early prediction, was the Canucks take out the Minnesota Wild. The only thing is that I don't think Minnesota makes it out of the first round, because I've been looking at their roster and they're very top heavy. They're not as deep as I thought they were, and then giving away 3 young talents like they did is probably going to affect their play. I haven't broken it down yet, but it would be funny to see what they actually replace these guys with. Looking at the special teams tonight, Boston does score a power play goal, 1 for 3. Canucks do score a power play as well, though, so 1 for 4, 25%. Slowly but surely, this power play has been starting to put the puck in the net again, Dustin, and I like the sounds of it.
Oh, you're absolutely right about that, and don't call me Shirley.
Yeah.
But it just, things look a lot more fluid on the power play, right? Like they snap it around, they have to communicate, because it's not get the puck to Quinn, get the puck to Quinn, get the puck to Quinn, get the puck to Quinn. Because that's really what it started to look like on the power play, and him just throwing muffins up the middle because he wasn't using his feet because he was disinterested and checked out. It's pretty evident watching the games that he's played in Minnesota. So, of course the power play is going to bounce back when you have more guys working together, getting the puck to the front of the net. Linus Karlsson, net front presence. That's where he makes his money, man. I've been waiting for him to break out a little more and get more ice time, which he got tonight, which is something I'm really happy about, because this is the Linus Karlsson we saw tonight was the one I saw following Abbotsford so closely for last season. From January on to the Calder Cup finals, this is the Linus Karlsson that led the way and really carried the team offensively all the way through the playoffs and everything. When the playoffs hit, he even found another gear in front of the net and was winning battles. So I just love what I saw from him tonight, and I hope he keeps it going, because remember at the beginning of the year when I said my crazy take was that he could potentially get up to 30 goals? He's up to 7 now. It would still take a crazy heater, but if he gets more top 6 minutes, could suddenly see him start racking up those rebound goals and putting himself in the conversation for leading scorer on this hockey team.
Yeah, I wanted to give props out to Phil Hronek as well. Played 27 minutes and 41 seconds tonight. However, I'm going to bring it up for everyone to look at it. It's super tiny again, so let's make it big. So here's Phil Hronek's numbers. 27 minutes in a back-to-back, almost 28 minutes. Average shift length, 53 seconds. Think about that. He played 27 minutes and 41 seconds and only averaged less than a minute because he's being efficient. And I absolutely friggin' love that. That is amazing to see that in beast mode, you get out there, you do some hard work, you get off the ice. And that was one of my biggest problems with what we were seeing before. But Phil Hronek stepping into that role as the number one defenseman on this team and making it look relatively easy, going and playing a bunch of minutes, but doing them in very efficient fashion.
Yep. And Brett, you may be right, but and I think maybe that when we look back at things, when it comes to favoriting like PD over other guys, maybe that's when the rift started, was when they made Hughes captain, because that was more Tocchet and them choosing Hughes as the captain rather than ownership and then maybe wanted PD as captain. And maybe that's when everything fell apart. Like I don't know just where we're at today. All we're going to know is where we go from here. And we have not yet seen PD play post Hughes. We don't know what he's going to be like. And until we see that, we can't really say like, oh, was he the problem? Because if Pettersson comes back and still sucks, and when he comes back, it drags the team down, then yeah, I'm absolutely on board with saying Pettersson's the problem. He's got to go. But if he comes back and lights it up, like I'm saying, we kind of have our answer to like who was dragging everyone down to like this angry, bitter level.
Yeah.
That seemed to kind of cast a dark shadow over these over this organization. And we absolutely saw that Hughes played 32 minutes. He was also the direct cause of 2 goals during that 32 minutes.
He averaged a minute and a half per shift too. So he was 40 seconds longer per shift than Hronek was tonight. So that's the huge difference.
And I don't care how good a shape he's in. Like if they continue to play him those minutes, he's not playing in the Olympics and he's not playing the rest of the season because he is going to blow a knee or something out. Just out of sheer exhaustion or overuse. He wanted to go win. And good for him. He has that chance now. And I mean, Minnesota has a window of a year and a half.
Roy, Dustin,
I don't think our fans would ever boo Hughes. I don't think it's going to go that far. I think they could be sour about the way he left, but he is still the best defenseman we've ever had, talent-wise.
Yeah,
so it's a weird thing.
We won't see the Minnesota Wild in Vancouver. There's one more game, I believe, in Minnesota at the end of the year. It'll give everyone time to cool off by the time we see them in Vancouver next season, unless, of course, we see them in the playoffs, which would be wild. 3 stars of the game, Dustin. I can say I was honestly surprised by this one from the Boston Bruins media, because they're the ones who probably chose this. For the 3 stars of the night, what do you go with? Because this might be the most level-headed I've ever seen an away team do it.
I mean, for me, you're probably going Öhgren, who had an incredible game, gets the shootout winner, which kind of translates as a game winner in most of the American places. And we all know that the number 1 star in pretty much any East Coast American hockey city is the game-winning goal scorer. So I'm probably going to go Öhgren, a 1st star. Linus Karlsson, absolutely all over the ice tonight. 2 goals and an assist. 3 points in this one. His best performance of the year. He's getting 2nd star for me. 3rd star, they probably threw a bone to like Geeky, who's their leading scorer. For me, I probably give it to Lankinen over Geeky, as someone who watched just for, Lankinen shutting them down in the shootout. And, he did make 38 of 42 shots. So 38 saves, 42 shots against. Like
and 7 shots stopped in the shootout too, right? Like 7 shots stopped. They didn't score on him in the shootout. So you nailed it. It's Liam Öhgren, 1st star, Linus Karlsson, 2nd star, and Morgan Geekie is the 3rd star, which I'm fine with, right? Geekie looked like a beast out there. I mean, you could even...
Oh, he does every game, right?
Yeah.
He goal and an assist. He gets the assist on the tying goal. So yeah, I get it. I get that. I get the 3rd star. I'll give him that.
Yeah. I mean, sure. I would have thrown a bone probably to Pastrnak.
3A, 3B.
But Pastrnak didn't really get the points to back it up. But I thought Pastrnak looked really, really dangerous out there, despite the fact that he didn't even make it onto the score sheet. So that probably prevented him from making it into that 3rd star position.
Yeah, so for me, then I'd go 3A and 3B. 3A, Morgan Geekie, 3B, Kevin Lankinen.
Yeah. Yeah, but I can understand where the Boston media is coming from, not wanting to have a sweep in a 5-4 game where they outshot the Canucks by a very wide margin.
For sure.
So the Canucks win all 3 games in the gauntlet of the Stanley Cup Finals, which is hilarious. So they defeat the New York Rangers, the New York Islanders, and the Boston Bruins. So I do feel a little better about that. Now we're moving on to play
Do we
against.
feel better? Or does it hurt more?
No, I like it. It's fine. I'm a bitter guy.
Okay, we feel better.
I wasn't there for the Islanders one, but I'm still bitter about that one too, for whatever reason. I might just be too bitter. I'm an IPA, I guess.
Yeah, there you go.
Next game for the Canucks is on Monday. It's going to be the last one before the Christmas break. Going in to face their old coach, Rick Tocchet, in Philadelphia. It's a 4:30 start on Monday. We will be live for it. What do you expect to see from this Flyers team that does seem to be buying into Tocchet's system? But then after watching that video today of Yogi and Tocchet getting into it with their players on the bench, what do you expect to see from this Flyers team on Monday?
They are a roller coaster, man. Some games they got it and they have, that talk it, choke it out system. Other times they start to try and rush the puck and get mistakes happening because they do have a lot of young players. But today they lost 5-3 to Buffalo. And they let Rasmus Dahlin go end to end effortlessly. We heard it early. The fans weren't happy with Talk It Hockey, and they're still, they're a little more excited about it because it does look like these guys are buying in, but the first year of Talk It Hockey here was really good and exciting too. And then the next year, everything went to shit. So, I don't know what we're going to get from Philly. But what I do know is if the Canucks continue to put this effort out every night, if each player continues to put this effort on the ice, they're going to compete with each and every team in this league, including teams like the Colorado Avalanche, just on sheer will. They won't necessarily have the same amount of talent, which is what Hughes said last year when he was a miserable prick and said, we're not going to be good, so we're going to have to work hard. But he was the one who wasn't, and now everyone else is, and everyone else has proven him right. They can win by sheer effort over talent on any given night.
Dustin, is there anything you want to say to chat before I let you go?
You all are absolutely wonderful. I appreciate each and every one of you, even when we disagree. That's what we're here for. We are here just to have fun. We're all here for the same reason. We want the Canucks to win, and we want the best for this team. We want the best for the city and the organization. I appreciate all of you. You're the best. Mods out there, you guys are great. Awesome questions as always. Russ, incredible run today, man. What a stream. Buddy, I can't believe you're still got your voice and are still look just as good as you did when you signed on this morning. Enjoy a well-earned Sunday. Give your voice a rest, and that goes for everyone else as well. We will see you Monday night in Philadelphia when those Canucks take on those Philadelphia Flyers at 4:30 Pacific time.
Trying to make it 5 in a row. Can you believe it?
Oh, the winning yesterday was the first time they've won 3 games in regulation since the JT Miller trade. Can you believe that?
That's so crazy, bro. All right. We'll look forward to another chaotic game as we will be seeing Rick Tocchet, and we'll be here for you guys, me and Dusty, for the Rusty and Dusty Sideshow and the Rusty and Dusty Postgame Show. So thank you very much for all your hard work today, brother, and we'll talk again soon.
Absolutely. Have a great one, and make sure you give Crystal a little extra attention tomorrow because today was a big day.
Will do, my dude. I got you.
Appreciate the heck out of you, buddy.
Have a great night.
We'll talk to you soon.
Nothing is perfect.